Dude, Where's My Car is one of those movies where when I saw it as a child, I didn't like it or find it that funny. It wasn't a movie I hated or didn't like, but I also didn't enjoy it mostly because I didn't get it. But once I got older and saw it as an adult, it suddenly became one of the funniest movies I've seen. Every single scene in this movie makes me either laugh or laugh a lot. This is when I suddenly appreciated the movie so much more and loved every moment of it and now understand and get it. Jesse and Chester wake up from having a party and don't remember anything that happened. After seeing them and learning they are stoners, they go outside and don't know where their car is, which is when they say the title of the movie.
Dude, where's my car? Where's your car, dude? Dude, where's my car? Where's your car, dude? Dude, where's my car? Where's your car, dude?
So this is where they lead into a funny moment in every scene. Like, it's not even just, oh, some scenes are hit or miss. Oh no, every scene has something that makes you laugh. Even all the characters they meet trying to find their car are so ridiculous and over the top, it's hard not to crack a smile. Like, remember when they go to the Chinese restaurant and Jesse is ordering food and the person in the drive-thru keeps saying, at first, I thought it was going to lead to something else, but it keeps going and just makes Jesse get mad. Now, on paper, this joke sounds like it's not that funny and maybe goes on for a little too long, but when you see the scene, it's perfectly timed, not too short or too long, and makes me laugh every time. Then how about when they go to the strip club and meet Tanya, the gender-challenged male? So once we get to this part of the movie, that's when we start to see what in the world did Chester and Jesse do? She gave them a suitcase of money and wants it back. So now they have to find this money and car. Now, seeing that this part of the movie is in a strip club and we see Chester with these girls dumping water on their chest, you automatically can tell Dude, Where's My Car is going to be out of this world. Even their stoner friend Nelson is pretty bizarre character. We don't see much of him, but when we do, we can see that even the characters not so much featured in the movie are pretty out there. Probably the most normal people in this whole movie are Jesse and Chester's girlfriends, Wilma and Rhonda. Yeah, I know these two have relationships with females and they're complete opposite of them. They don't smoke or drink or party at all. Makes me wonder how they even got together. But we see them get dumped for forgetting their anniversary and trashing their house. After all this occurs, they meet this weird cult group. They just call them space nerds, and they start talking about the Continuum Transfunctioner, which is a device that...
Continuum Transfunctioner is a very mysterious and powerful device.
And?
And its mystery is exceeded only by its power.
So now the car, this suitcase of money, and this Continuum Transfunctioner which can control or save the Earth. So I'm pretty sure these space nerds are kind of based off Heaven's Gate, which a few years before Dude, Where's My Car was released, it was a real cult group that believed in leaving Earth and starting new life in space with aliens. I'm not entirely sure, but it was big news back in the late 90s, and that's what the space nerds want, the Continuum Transfunctioner, because it will help them leave Earth. So these characters are pretty crazy too, but this one is based off something from real life, but it just never stops with all these people they encounter. And then the villains of the movie, hot alien chicks. That's actually what they are called. The movie even labels it for us. What's neat is we don't really know they are the main villains of the movie, or you could say almost everybody in this movie is probably a villain because they all keep going to Jesse and Chester for the Continuum Transfunctioner because they have it and they don't know where it is. Even the jocks want that Continuum Transfunctioner. Oh gosh, I've said that name so many times already. Say it 3 times more fast. Continuum Transfunctioner, Continuum Transfunctioner, Continuum Transfunctioner. But we have these super stereotyped jocks that want to beat up Jesse and Chester for being stoners, and the hot alien chicks tell them they will give them pleasure if they get the Continuum Transfunctioner. Yeah, that's another thing they do. They just say they'll give them pleasure, even to Jesse and Chester. Now, this scene is probably one of the funniest when the alien chicks go to this blind kids festival and are asking about the Continuum Transfunctioner. And this kid just feels the alien's boobs. This is the scene I laughed the hardest at. It gets me every time, and then seeing this guy get hit in the nuts from the kid on the slip inside just makes the laughter even more. Now, this next scene is probably one of the most popular and funniest scenes, or the most funniest, is when they find out they got tattoos on their back. They even did this same scene in Scary Movie 2, but instead of using dude and sweet, they used the F word and the SH word. Even when Jesse and Chester get arrested, we see the police are all wacky and goofy. Jesse and Chester find the car and it's at a police station, but this cop accidentally impounds it being all nerdy, so then they gotta go to this cop and she's just crazy and her laugh makes Jesse and Chester like run away fast as possible. I'm telling you, every character is so cartoony, it's hard not to laugh. Even when they get caught at the llama farm, they meet this guy, Mark. Let me just say, if you were to tell someone to try to not laugh at this scene, you'll most likely lose. This guy is really funny and he's only in this one scene. Wish he at least appeared more in the movie, but for this one scene, he makes every second funny. He even has his own website. If he's been stuck in that cage for 3 years, that's impressive. I don't even see a computer in that cage. But back in the 2000s, when websites were on the rise, almost everybody had their own website. Oh yeah, almost forgot to mention these two buff guys from the space. They also want the Continuum Transfunctioner. These guys are featured the least, but in the end of the movie, they become the most important. I like when they ask Jesse and Chester about the Continuum Transfunctioner, and they send them to the Chinese restaurant drive-thru lady. So we all know what they're gonna go through there. So when Jesse and Chester head to the Space-O-Rama, which by the way, looks like such a cool place to go to. Kinda reminds me of Chuck E. Cheese, but with a space theme. Like Pizza Planet. Oh yeah, that place would be neat to go to too. They really did have the money and give it back to Tanya. But we see they are pretty smart people. I mean, they ain't geniuses, but we see they learn Japanese. And they figure out a way to get the Continuum Transfunctioner. Everybody, even us the audience, don't know what it looks like, so they figure out to just make everybody think it's this space toy, and it works for a while until the buff guys say it's not. It was the Rubik's Cube the whole time, which Chester solves. Throughout the whole movie, we see him trying to figure it out and don't really think much of it, but he does at the end, and that's when we see the Continuum Transfunctioner. I got a Rubik's Cube just to try to figure it out like Chester, and even I couldn't solve it in the time Chester did. Now, just when we thought the movie can't get any more out of this world, the hot alien chicks turn out to be the bad ones and turn into a super hot giant alien and start breaking everything at the Space-O-Rama. They even eat one of the jock guys. But have no fear, Jesse and Chester figure out the Continuum Transfunctioner and destroy the super hot giant alien, and the two dudes decode it and save the world. We get such a nice ending here, everybody gets happy. The space nerds go with them and leave Earth. Jesse and Chester get back with Rhonda and Wilma. I just wish they didn't erase their memory. Yeah, they erase it, just like in Men in Black, and rewind time back to the beginning of the movie. I guess that's okay, but I would have left it if they remembered. But that's just a nitpick. I still love this movie, and we finally see what kind of car they were looking for the whole time. But Dude, Where's My Car is seriously one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I don't really care what anybody says. You can say it's a stoner comedy and a stupid movie that's just full of cartoonish characters, but that's exactly what the movie is going for, and I think it does it honestly the best and funniest way. Dude, Where's My Car is a movie where you either love or you don't like at all. And this movie is obviously not going to be for everybody, but if you watch it knowing you're going to see the most ridiculous stuff ever, then you'll love it for sure. When I first saw it, it just went over my head and that was weird. But the more I saw it at an older age, the more I appreciated it and realized Dude, Where's My Car is pure comedy gold.
Chester!